Kristen, how sad I was at the second episode ending because
Right.
I didn't have any more to watch.
It's one of those shows where you get more and more invested because you get more and more invested in these characters, and the virus situation gets more and more harrowing. So it draws you in and draws you through it. When we were making it, we get a cut, of like episode 4, and we're like, oh my god, I got to see what happens in episode 5 because it's getting. And they're like, we're still shooting it, but it really is that type of storytelling that just because you're so invested in the characters, you just get invested in the season.
Yeah, what I was telling Kristen is that when I first started watching it, you immediately started getting invested into the characters because the fluidness and the organic way that we get to see the character development through this crisis happening so fast, it just draws you in. And then by the second episode, you're like, okay, what's going to be happening?
Right.
And then people are divided with the cordon,
Right.
And it just gets crazy. So what can we look forward to in the upcoming episodes for season 1? Like what?
Right. Well, as we said in the panel, it's 19 days. So we'll go up to and past all the insanity you saw at the beginning of the pilot. And it really is how the city and how this cordon is affected by a virus that spreads very rapidly and is sort of burning its way through the society. Now, this is based on, it's modeled after actual viral outbreaks. I mean, I think, unlike some other shows, it's not a zombie show where people die, they stay dead, and it's sort of modeled to a certain extent on an Ebola-like virus. So it reacts in the same ways that something like that would. And we really consulted with a lot of folks at the CDC and infectious disease specialists, and the scary thing was, whenever we'd come up with a scenario, we'd be like, well, is this plausible at all? They'd be like, oh no, it'd be much worse. They were very concerned, they are very concerned that something like this could happen in America. And it's sort of like people that work on terrorism, they're like, well, it's sort of inevitable that something like this could happen again. These folks are concerned that a viral outbreak, because of the way we travel now, there's so much fluidity between countries, and all it really takes is a single person to carry this in, and then if they're in a particularly dense area, we would have a big problem.
And this kind of situation is very plausible in the sense this just happened in Sierra Leone in 2014, like quarantining a giant part of the neighborhood.
With the Ebola scare.
To think that it couldn't happen here is a little bit of false optimism. The more research we did, the more scared we got, but it was good research, and it was actually a really fun process to chart the neighborhood throughout the season. Really say, okay, well, how would a neighborhood devolve under this circumstance? When would garbage pickup end? When would people stop going outside because they're too scared?
And when they run out of food, milk, how many days? It was interesting.
What about the makeup and the prosthetics and everything? Because the way that these people deteriorate so rapidly, because I think they said that it was within 48 hours is imminent death.
We had a phenomenal makeup team.
It looks so real.
They were lights out, and they approached it with a plan. So we essentially knew going, there are essentially 5 stages more or less to this disease, from getting it to death. And so we could say to the makeup department, okay, they're more in stage 3 now. There's been this many hours. And to have that as a reference was really helpful.
And they had reference photos of people that they put in the prosthetics. Okay, that's what stage 3 is supposed to look like. Their eyes are jaundiced, they're bleeding a little, and so it was always very regimented. As a result, there's sort of a very codified look, and you almost can tell just by looking at people how sick they are. It's intense, but it was fun to do, fun to dive into.
Yeah, definitely. When watching it and you just seeing the deterioration, especially when the first doctor, when she's trying to explain it, it's terrifying because that can possibly happen here. I mean, it's happened all across the world, but the makeup is just fantastic.
Yeah, our makeup department did a great job.
Yeah.
So in terms of telling the story, this is based off of a Belgian TV show. But I'm curious, when you decided to do the show and set it, in the United States, how did that factor into what kind of story you were telling? Like, how did the change of setting change the kind of story you're going to tell?
Well, there's one component that was just a bit of a happy accident, which is CDC is based in Atlanta, and the CDC plays a big role in the show, so it feels very organic. There is an equivalent in Belgium, but it's not as worldly, and so that was kind of a happy accident. Then there are components like Belgium is a pretty uniform and uniformly white society, and here, by changing it to Atlanta and making it a diverse cast, there's all these issues that sort of come up about class and race that give it, I think, another element.
And sorry, but real quick, now that this original series has gotten renewed for a second season, how is that influencing your kind of creative process in going forward with this show?
Well, yeah, I think for us, it was a great platform for this series. We both watched it and we were just so compelled by the Belgian series. We knew it created a great foundation for this American series. We haven't had a chance to see the Belgian second season. Imagine we will, and see where they deviated. And, there were choices made in the pilot, and then as we go along, the two series start to diverge. So you can't do everything because you just can't go back. But that'll be the fun of it as well.
Considering
We're wrapped,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh no! Considering the guy who brought the virus in is dead and his entire family is dead, are we going to see people outside exploring that further? How he got in with it?
Yes, that's a big part of it. What happened there, and in short, it's an interesting examination of certain preconceptions people have and xenophobia, and whether those are accurate. And there's a whole lot going on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool.